We're live on the Las Vegas Strip, right in the shadow of Mandalay Bay. Producer Jim Dallas, my co-host Brian Ichikawa at theratepro.com. As always, my son Logan in a studio. My name is Richard Husel. We've been on now, what, a year and a half, been on the Kevin Walsh Show with you every day now for, we're coming up on about 70 plus, 75 times I've been on there. I've been doing a little co-hosting on Thursday. We get to talk about everything on Thursdays, and I feel like I've been doing some prep, so I'll be on tomorrow with you and Kevin from 1 to 3. I've been screenshotting all these stories, and I'm trying to think of some of these stories that are relevant to real estate and such, and there's so many to talk about. The one I just came in and asked you if you'd heard, and then I realized you were leading the story. Magic Johnson and Governor Lombardo have had Las Vegas NBA expansion meetings last month, so they just published it in the Review Journal. It's actually coming out. Of course, it was last month, but it's getting it's getting some attention. We know it's coming up. They're looking at 2 more teams. One of them, the front runners, is Seattle, who previously had a team, right? Then they ran the Seattle
Supersonics. Yeah.
Somehow that team went away, and they're a front runner back with Nashville and who's the other city?
Well,
it doesn't matter because we're getting it.
It's going to be Seattle and Vegas. Yeah. I would almost, make a big bet on that.
And we're in Vegas. We can bet on that. And on all the on the different the bets right now. Vegas is leading along with Seattle. Nashville will probably be in the running down the road, but right now we're very likely to get it.
The Board of Governors is expected this summer. During the Summer League, which is always right here in Las Vegas, Commissioner Adam Silver has indicated the expansion, and I would almost bet that it would be Seattle and the Las Vegas franchises.
They didn't send a billionaire owner of the Dodgers, Magic Johnson, as the envoy in meeting with the governor if it was not going and announcing it. So we know it's been the lead. We know that they've been talking about T-Mobile, by the way, has said don't waste all this time spending $2 billion down the road to make a new venue. We could be ready for $300 million. We have the money ready, and we could actually be playing there the following season. So they are actually very likely to have T-Mobile. And you and I were talking about last week on the Kevin Walsh Show. We're in a great place just to park and not have to pay those $60 parking prices. We're right here on the Las Vegas Strip at 3999 Las Vegas Strip, right on Mandalay Bay.
If that's
we can walk to the A's. We can walk to basketball.
Yeah, we could walk for all 4 major sports from the radio station right here.
Yes, we can.
It's all within about a mile, maybe 1.2 miles.
Yeah, you can look right out the side and see the stadium that is going on. Last week was Major League weekend here in Vegas. Who do we have? We have the Angels and the A's, both playing at downtown Summerlin. I am going to tease 2 things real quick. I'm going to skip back. Appreciate Tycor Title, our title partner. We just had my 2nd longest listing I've ever had, and ironically, almost, it's one of my lowest price listings, Brian. I've had this thing on forever. It's a townhome. It was at $370,000. We dropped that price down today. Gave away some concessions. And after 238 days and an extension, which I never thought, I told him it was overpriced, but I'd worked with them before. But we were with Tycor Title, so that's 3954 Edgemore. We put that in. You and I are doing a couple deals right now. Brian, Logan, and I were doing well. We appreciate them. By the way, I got a deal closed last week with Tycor. I had the money in my account at my brokerage same day, and it's a huge change from the other place we use. Brian and I closed a deal up in South Lake Tahoe, different lender. Took me 6 days to even hear back from them again. It's terrible communication. So you want a good communicating title company.
I'm using Tycor for the one up in Reno.
There you go. There you go. We appreciate it. We're going to have Tycor on next week. We have a concierge home service, right? What are we known for? Well, we provide all your boxes and packing materials. We provide professional moves. Now, for many, many years, we owned a fleet of box trucks. I got my son, Logan, I got Christian. We would go out and grunt and do the whole thing ourselves. But as we got a little bit bigger and started doing more and more deals, plus the boys wanted more money as they got older, I was like, I'm better off just paying a moving company. So I used another big moving company in town with mixed results here and there. I started using 5-Star Movers. Craig Gilman's the owner of 5-Star Movers. I've done multiple moves for him. Even our out-of-state moves, he comes and fills the boxes. We're going to be talking to him in our 2nd segment, talk about his business and how he makes me look good on a daily basis when we actually have people that we get ready to move. But where are we going with some other stories? The Raiders, gosh, I got to tell you, the Raiders, there's some amazing things, and I'll go into the positives real quick. They're looking like, I don't want to say geniuses, but they really are. There's a lot of things we know about the Max Crosby trade, but now that we're dissecting it a little bit, they're making some huge pickups. And I'm a casual watcher of these things. Never was, I was like Brian, I was a Dallas Cowboy fan, but I've got to root for the Raiders now. They're across the street, they're hometown. They've made some big pickup moves. We know about the new head coach and all. But tell us a little bit. You and Logan have actually know a lot about this. I sent you both some reels today from Instagram, but they sent Max Crosby to the Ravens. Talk about it a little bit.
Well, okay, so Max Crosby, he agrees the Raiders and the Ravens make a deal, a trade deal, and the Ravens, they give up a lot to get him. 2 first-round picks. This year's first-round pick, next year's first-round pick.
Now they gave those to the Raiders, correct?
Right. That was going to the Raiders, and the Ravens were to get Max Crosby for that. Well, Max Crosby flies across the country, goes into the facility there, and they're giving him the tour. Meanwhile, this is my theory, in the background, they're going, man, Trey Hendrickson is still available out there. He was like the second best defensive lineman available. And they said, and we can get him maybe cheaper and not have to give up the 2 first-round picks. Yep. Let's just figure out a way to back out of this thing. And what I heard, and this was on the Rich Eisen show, there was a woman that went on there who has intimate knowledge of all this. She believes that there were like 5 independent doctors that said, okay, well, he may be okay the first year, maybe okay the second year. We don't like the third year. With this injury, we don't think this is a good deal. So they nixed the deal, and they get Hendrickson, and they don't have to pay as much. They get about 90% of the production, and they don't have to give up the first.
Well, I'm going to have Logan jump in a
picks.
minute, but I have to say that. But however, here's the number since 2019, comparing Max to Crosby. He actually had 10 more sacks, 154 QB hits to 164, so very similar. But the pressure rate is 12.3% to 10%. So they're very, very similar.
Very.
And some people say the numbers are even better for Trey. But what happened is now we've brought Crosby back, and his chances of getting traded, and it basically, it looks like it kind of hurt the Raiders financially in the sense of being able to trade off Crosby. What do you think, Lo?
Absolutely. I think that their cap space is going to be higher than it's ever been. It's definitely through the roof right now. They just got Tyler Lindenbaum as well, Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean, a couple guys. They're going to be paying some big money to.
$81 million, last week in picking up free agents for they are definitely spending, and they reaffirmed this morning that they're going to keep everybody that they have signed, but they've had some amazingly good pickups from all the people I kind of watch and see that know a lot more than me. So we're looking like we might have a real team and coaching staff looking good. They peeled off Geno Smith today. There was a lot of goofy reels online. I don't know if you saw these, Brian. They were showing there were plays. They said, this is Max Crosby walking to the Ravens, his legs all goofed up, and then finding out that Geno Smith's gone. All of a sudden, the guy stands upright and is walking normal again. But this could be a good pickup. So, yes, they may get hurt a little bit on the Crosby. Crosby may be back as a Raider for life like he said he was going to be. Did you notice he did a 13-minute reel the other day and said, I'm a Raven. He changed his Instagram profile to the picture.
At least
I'm sure it's got to be an odd feeling. He was back in Raiders today at 6 a.m. They said getting his leg rehab more.
He didn't take any shots at the Raiders, which is a good thing because, he's in the locker room again trying to rehab, and it looks like he will be a Raider. But there might be another trade partner, but guaranteed there's not going to be first-round picks in that compensation that the Ravens were about to do. I was hoping that it would go through because my team is in that same division. And now...
Well, they picked up a big center, right? Did they pick up a
Linderbaum
center for
Linderbaum came from the Ravens to the Raiders, and the Ravens are saying, we can afford this now that we let Linderbaum go, and we can afford Max Crosby. So they just they took Hendrickson instead, and for them, it's a much better deal. It really is.
Absolutely. I think the Raiders will be real competitors this season. They're going to fix that QB situation. They touched up their O-line. They touched up their defense. I think they're going to get their act together this season. They're going to have a pretty decent season.
Unless they sign a veteran quarterback, I know Kirk Cousins is available out there still. They're going to go with a rookie quarterback. And you know that there's going to be growing pains anyway. Don't have a problem with that. How many quarterbacks in recent memory have made it to the Super Bowl in their second season? Well, there's been quite a few. Joe Burrow was one of them. I believe Patrick Mahomes was one of them as well. So it does happen. They may have a 2 or 3 year plan here with the Las Vegas Raiders. That's what I'm thinking.
Brian, have you ever shopped at Saks Fifth Avenue here at the Fashion Show Mall? I know you were a flashy guy in your blacks. I know that it's probably where you are.
They have all the good polo shirts.
Brian loves black polo shirts. Dana will teach. He goes, what color, what black polo shirt is Brian wearing today? He's got his Italy service and his RatePro.com. They're closing after 45 years on the Strip. What's the saying? All good things must come to an end. It's kind of sad, right? You see casinos being torn and different things, but they are going away. On a positive note, Boyd Gaming is opening up a new casino with a 50,000 square foot facility coming up on March 25th out in Henderson called the Cadence Crossing. A little positive note. Before we go to break, I want to hit on a couple other headlines we're going to talk about. 51.7% of all listings in Las Vegas for rentals are giving concessions, price drops, and actually money back. So there are some concessions. I'm going to go over some of the numbers for you because I have people so often have a house right now, Brian. They'll say, well, it's been on the market a while, we'll just go ahead and rent it, right? We'll just rent it. They think that it's just going to be automatic. It used to be 7 to 9 days single family residence. You got those very quickly. Now we're seeing days 24, 26, 27 days. And if you don't have it priced right, people in the $2,000 a month range, I have found they don't actually call and say, hey, they'll negotiate. Now I've got houses that are $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 rentals.
All right, Craig,
those people will actually call up and haggle with you. So pricing that rental accordingly. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about some of those other things. We're going to see the number. We're going to see what we thought with the quote war that's going on right now, that we were going to see prices headed down, and we're actually going up in prices. The 10-year is way back up. When we come back, we're going to be talking to Craig Gilman. And I'm going to have to get his name correct. It's Gilliam. My wife texted me and said I'm saying it wrong. 5-Star Movers. We appreciate you listening. This is the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour. We're back on the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour with my son Logan, agent on the Richard Husel team with Keller Williams, the Marketplace. My good buddy and lender, Ryan Ichikawa with the RatePro.com. Thank you for joining us. So my wife said I mispronounced your last name. I've got 5-Star Movers on. Craig, it's Gilman, isn't it? You there, Craig? There we go. Close enough. As long as the check don't bounce, that's close enough for me. I have you saved as 5-Star Movers. Thank you for joining. You know, my service model, as you know, I handle moves for people. So what happens is, many years back, about 11 years ago, I had a deal fall out, and the deal just had all kinds of issues. But I was the buyer's agent and the seller's agent, and the seller, the one house was buying a house. And the deal fell through over the weekend, and they had to cancel the movers, and the movers want to charge them a fee for last minute cancellation and stuff. So I ordered a couple 26-foot U-Hauls, got my sons, got a friend, and just put this whole deal together. And all of a sudden, everything went really well for me, and I had such great, amazing responses. I thought, you know, what if I help everybody with all of their moves, right? So I did it for lots of years myself. We bought our trucks. We have 3 new trucks now. Used other moving companies. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your business, 5-Star Movers. I've been using you for years now, and you've been doing me real good. We're happy to have you on. Al? Yeah. Yeah. So when we do talk about the moves the right way, I see other people who do it on the side. We do all pad wrap. Describe what that is versus somebody who just rents the U-Haul themselves. They get the boxes, they throw a few sheets. You guys pad wrap everything. So when you talk about customers, by the way, I'll digress for a second. I'm your customer because I'm the one that pays the bill and does it, but I'm proud. What I like is when you guys show up. You guys have uniforms. I love Jake and his crew. You've got a lot of good crews, but I do have my favorite guys. Jake's always the anchor of the one. Jacob anchors that. But you guys pad wrap. Describe what that is and why you should have somebody that's always doing that. And by the way, I got Brian Ichikawa. I know you know him. You've done
Yeah,
that.
you moved me a couple times. On to add to what you do, we had a 2-story home, and you guys put cardboard along the walls on the staircase so you wouldn't scratch up the walls. So. Yeah, it's been a while. Good.
So yes, and you also use the wraps. You've got these nice. They snap around the doorways. I know that you know when I love it with as many homes as we move. When we get a house that actually has French doors, it's so nice. Trying to not ram a couch through a standard size door, but for those regular size doors, you guys have protections. What I do like and why I started using you guys was I used the biggest company in town. I will not say their name. I used them with mixed results here and there. They always nickel and dime me on extra things. So what I like with you guys, I can give you a minimum amount, right? Your 3 hours or so. No, I'm always over that, sometimes 5 or 6. You've done an 8-hour move for me. I've also double stuffed you guys. The dead of summer this year, I had 2 separate moves. You took care of me. You guys don't beat me up on all these extra little, baloney fees on the side, which I'll call a little bit unethical, right? If you give somebody a price for it, then you throw in something else along the way. Tell us about being unethical movers or ones that some of the pitfalls people do when they want to move back east. They get this. They'll have some of these moving companies will talk about giving us a price and giving us multi-$1,000s up front, but they're actually brokers, and sometimes they take your money and walk away. I know you guys do moves across. Tell us a little bit about that and ways to protect yourself if somebody is moving, what not to do. Right. That's a nice word for it, yeah. Yep. So we're talking with 5-Star Moving Company. This is who we use. I know you're on Facebook and stuff. What's the best way if somebody wants to look at you, get a hold of you? They want to see you see online, see some of your great referrals and things. What's the best places to find you online? real good. I don't know how much we're going to go from there. I appreciate it, but so if you buy or sell a house with me, and I was just about to text you the other day, I've got a few more moves coming up for you. Brian and I have 3 deals together. We're going to buyer, seller, buyer. We're moving all of them together. I actually just dropped boxes off for them, so you're gonna be hearing at least 3 calls from us by the end of the month. And we appreciate you calling. I do appreciate the ethical service. I like that the pricing is predictable. And
Yeah,
Logan, my son Logan, who always helps me. So what we do is we come in, we help move the boxes and get things into place.
One thing I really do want to say that I love about their services, on these big move days, he tells me 8 a.m. Friday, we're going to be there for a while. Be ready for it. I'm like, okay, and I'm excited for it now. I see it as a payday, but before I was like, oh. But your guys are great. They're really great about the downtime. I would say they don't have any downtime. They get after it. They wrap stuff. They do it well. They pack things tight. They make everything fit.
I know the guys are happy and they see me because I'm probably one of the best tippers out. I normally tip the guys $100 cash each, and I'll put it on their card to make sure we take care of them. Tell us your name again, who your business is, and best way to reach you before we go off, Greg. Appreciate you, and I'll be sending you a text next week with some addresses for some 3 upcoming moves in this March. Appreciate you. Thank you for being on. Likewise, we're talking with 5 Star Moving Company. When you buy or sell with us, I've been doing this for many years. I've spent 6 figures on moves for people. Sometimes I've spent a lot on it, but it's been my service model that I'm known for. Guys, moving's not a lot of fun. That's why we bought our trucks. We handle the boxes. I've got I've got a couple ladies in their 80s, Brian. You're actually working with them, and they don't want to go buy, 100 boxes for their house, all that bubble wrap. We take care of that. So we do the move. What it is, it's not that they don't have the money to do it or couldn't find a company. They know that I'm holding their hand, making sure it's done. I'm using a reputable company like 5 Star, and it's worked out real well for us. We're going to be running up on a break in a minute. We are going to talk about what's going on with rates. A couple weeks in a row, you and I were talking. We were talking about rates going down. Well, we've got this war. 10 years going crazy again. Instead of 4.25. We'll talk about what that actually means. We're going to talk about the mixed inventory right now. What is going on and where you should be. Are we going into a buyer's market, as they say? Or is the inventory shrinking a little bit? We'll talk about that. This is the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour. We are back on the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour live in the Las Vegas Strip. We were talking about Governor Lombardo, Magic Johnson meeting. Highly, highly likely. We were about to get an NBA team, but there was a little bit of NBA history last night. We're going to talk about it 30 seconds. You guys,
absolutely.
Who was it?
So Bam Adebayo played the Wizards last night, and he scored 83 points, scoring 43 free throws. It's pretty wild.
Now, how many points did he get, Jim, in the first? Did you saw the first?
In the first half, he had 42 points. In the first quarter, I think he had 31. And he beat Kobe's second place record at 81 points scored in the game, right under Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game.
83 points. Now, there was some controversy about it being 40-plus free throws, that they fouled the heck out of him. Somehow, like the other team was trying to get him over this record. It seemed a little unlikely. I don't care enough about it to watch, but there's a lot of people saying, we're going to put an asterisk next to it. This was not even a real game and such. I don't know what you're thinking about.
I don't know. Again, you're fighting over semantics here because he didn't break the record. He beat Kobe's second.
Correct.
For second place.
I don't think anyone will beat Wilt's record.
Yeah, Wilt record March 2nd.
He did it with no 3-pointers too, right?
Wilt Chamberlain.
3-pointers.
Is that really it?
On March 2nd, 1962, he had 100 points.
That's 52 pointers.
For the
crazy.
Philadelphia Warriors, which you can't even have the Warrior name anymore. They scored 169 over New York, who had 147 in that Wilt Chamberlain game. That's not going to ever be.
Never going to be beat.
I don't see how you can do
So,
that.
Logan, you got a story. I want to ask Brian about it. Homes.com has this is something kind of positive as the Trump administration is hopefully, they say they're pro-housing. They're trying to do everything they can. Got a new Fed advisor. They've got a new federal loan program that aims to boost housing by expanding access to construction financing. We know construction takes a while, but you know what's the saying? When's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. Next best time is now. So if we're going to talk about under fewer houses than we need, right? We need a lot more housing to house the people, the growing population and such. We need to continue to build, even if it takes a while. Tell us a little bit more about that story briefly.
Yeah, boosting housing construction moving forward definitely focuses on one of the biggest barriers developers face, getting affordable financing to start building homes. What do you know about that, Brian?
They're going to allocate so far $20 million as a fund for doing these as a
So it's going to be rolling.
Yeah.
20 million. I mean,
It's going to go pretty quick.
It doesn't sound like very much.
I think you're waiting to
the
see
land
how it goes.
purchases are $34 million. There's what is it? KB Homes just spent what $37 million to do it. So it sounds great, but 20 million's a drop in the
I think it's
bucket.
it's a news clip more than
There's $20 million houses in the ridges. So.
Yeah, so we're talking about the land purchase and stuff. So it is a start. They have passed it a little bit. So you and I have some deals going on. We're always texting each other in the morning. So I watch CNBC. I get up with the dogs. I've got our 3 dogs, Charlie, Scout, and Pickles. They like to get up with Mom about 5:30. I turn on CNBC. I'll text Brian to say, you see the 10-year. So we're always watching the 10-year note, not so much what the Fed is doing. We're looking for the bond market, the debt market. It was trending down very nicely to around that 4%. Let's go back to the beginning of the year. The Trump administration announced that there was about $200 billion in the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mae reserves, and they were going to take that money, right, Brian?
And then we're going to stretch it out over the year to just keep buying back.
So what that did is it took the prices down on the mortgage, even though the 10-year stayed elevated above 4%, correct?
Yeah, it did, and so the yields were coming down.
Yeah.
You know, it was working, but then now, I think the oil prices has kind of screwed things up.
So we were talking the week after the war's been going 8-9 days now.
It happened on a
now.
Friday, so we were
Happened on a
both saying
Friday.
wait till Monday.
So wait till Monday to see what the 10-year Treasury does. So I'm a credit investor. I watch the stuff. I'm a geek. I'm always watching. My prediction is we were going to start seeing the bond market get a little jittery, sell off and do it. But we keep going up on the 10-year, and today it's all over the news, all the financial news. We got a really bad number. We're at 4.25, which is the highest it's been in a while. Now, we just go back about a week and a half ago. We're the lowest rates in about 4 years. What gives, Brian?
Oh well, we touched on the lowest rates.
Touched on it.
Touched on it, but you know, the nationwide average was what they said was a big deal, 5.9.
5.99. So that was the average, and that's the dollar. You know, the point just below 6 that.
Everybody wants to see it.
headline.
It's
Yeah.
a mental thing, but you know, everybody wants to see it. But as you know, we've been getting late rates in the 5s for a couple months.
So Brian's doing multiple deals for me, and I've talked multiple times. He's closed a deal, a multi-million-dollar purchase in Florida just a few months back. Just did my South Lake Tahoe deal. I'm licensed in California. You've been getting deals down in the low 5s even before all
Yeah,
of this.
no, it's
consistently.
we're pretty consistently doing it, and it's not just FHA and VA. Even our conventional stuff's getting in the mid 5s, so we're doing good there. So it's available. So, but no, even today I was trying to lock a few things, and it was getting more tough. You know, the prices are going up.
So this is a contradictory story. So we hear some contradictory things in the news. I'll give you an example of one right now. These are 2 stories at the same time. It says that the last year was since spring, and you may have just heard this, was the most amount of first-time home buyers in many, many years. Take that with the same story that came out at the same time from Inman. News says the median age of a new buyer is 57 years old.
Wow.
It used to be so young, right? Our parents would go out and buy houses. Mom stayed home. They bought houses in their 20s. They got married, did it. Now the average age is 57. However, you got another story. This is why the news can be so confusing when we look at national stories.
Well, it's
versus
also
the,
confusing what they consider a first-time buyer. It just means someone that hasn't
3
owned a
years.
home for the last 3 years.
Right. So a first-time buyer does not mean you have not ever bought a house. Kind of like the reborn virgin thing. It's like you haven't bought a house in 3 years. It does. It's not a
Yeah.
real.
So you
it's
sold your
not a real
house.
term.
How
You
can
just
they
sold-
use that term then?
Yeah, they
it's
sold their
very
house and maybe they
interesting.
went to go rent for 3 years,
And
and
they
now
come
you
back
buy, and then you're considered a first-time buyer again.
Here's more contradictory news. So we've got, I won't say his name, but he was the most recent president of the Las Vegas Realtor Association. Social media today said the inventory's been shrinking in recent months, and we're no longer looking at a buyer-friendly market. However, everything else we are seeing on the news, including the Review Journal came out and just said that we've had the most amount of concessions. We've got 19% of sales have fallen out in this last year. What does that mean? I want to want to talk about that story. If you're seeing it very often in the news, what's happening is people are buying a house, they're going into contract, they're putting up some earnest money, they may do the inspection. Somewhere along the line in those first 3 due diligence periods, you can talk about those, Brian. We've got a regular due diligence period, which is the time that you put up your earnest money, you get to do your inspection, maybe have an AC inspector come out, you maybe get cold feet.
A
Or
lot
ask
of
for
them don't know,
concessions.
not just that, I think a lot of them just aren't aware of the all-in payment. And that's what scares everybody. Once I tell everybody what your payment is with the insurance, the taxes, your HOA, the mortgage,
Yep.
and then sometimes they look at the utilities, now they're asking for utility bills. They look at it, they get scared.
So since you're going to go with that, I'm going to go back to the story talking about the president of the Realtors Association here. He said condos and townhouse supply is up, and the reason why is the higher HOAs, the new insurance costs are pushing some buyers to looking at smaller homes. And right, so talk about that with the HOAs. And I'll tell you, as a property manager, the last thing I really want is a condo, especially a high-rise, more than 2 stories, having somebody above it water-wise. But talk about that right now, because we see this rising inventory, we see it different.
They do surveys too, and if they find out that there's too many rentals, in concentration of rentals in there, the insurance levels change. The ability to actually finance at a good rate changes. So, of course, it makes it more difficult to sell.
Talk
Can't
about what a
finance it.
condo certification is, and this is something right now. So Logan and I have two listings. We're over there, very, very close to Nellis Air Force Base. They're low price, they're $185 each. Guess what? Both of them are the reason we're not on the market. I've had the key since December. They both had water issues, and one neighbor's suing the other neighbor. It was the other neighbor's washer went out. The drywall's been all cut out. It's been remediated, but there's a little bit of litigation, litigation, right?
It's all documented too, so you can't hide it. So it's all gonna be there, and plus you get to see how much other money they may or may not have in the fund to fix everything.
Right, so we're talking about assessment. So what happens with condos, if you can get FHA financing, you get VA financing for your condo, you've got a bigger pool of people to buy from them.
And we can get a list. We can look it up before you go shopping. You can see what condo complexes are approved for VA or FHA, and it's very simple. And you're going to find that there's not a whole lot.
So the first thing that Logan or I'll do, if we have somebody coming up either to buy or getting ready to list, I'll call Brian and say, hey, can you do the little bit of legwork for me? Maybe you're an agent listening, you're looking for a lender that will help you with this. This that might save you some time and a little egg on your face. The last thing you want to do is put in an offer, have them accept it, find out that it is not an approved.
Yeah,
property.
sometimes we'll find that there might be an approval and it's expiring.
Yeah.
But when we can find out, hey, we can actually get this renewed, and it's not going to cost us anything. So there's ways around it. So it just depends what project it is.
So what I was, the president just came out and he said, I say president of the Realtor Association, he's saying that some buyers are looking at smaller homes, that you can actually get a smaller home for around the same price if you take the all-in price, right?
Correct.
Because you look at a home, maybe it's got a low HOA, maybe it's $75 a month, $35 a month. We have one right now for sale in the $472 price range. It only has a $22 a month HOA. It pays for the gate, but it's a large enough HOA that price is low, but some of these HOAs keep going up.
And we have condos now that, $300, $400?
With very, very little. With them, of course, they normally have a gate. They're going to have maybe a pool, but they're 300 plus and they're growing. But what we're really finding is the insurance rates are going up, aren't they?
A lot.
So
quite a bit.
When you're getting financing for somebody, say it isn't a condo, you're giving them that all-in payment that maybe somebody else is not giving them all the way.
Sometimes it makes agents mad that I do it, but I rather have people prepared to know exactly what they're getting into, because I don't want this canceling.
Well, when the agent gets mad at you for telling them, they're going to find out at some point, because if they have an impound account, especially if they're doing FHA or VA, they don't have a big down and they're doing it. The lender, the underwriter, wants to see what that payment is.
Everybody thinks sometimes I'm a little too conservative about things, but I'd rather be prepared than have it fall apart.
So straight answers. What I do like, by the way, I'm going to give you a compliment. We have a lady right now doing a buy and sell. It's a three-way deal going. I'm the agent for all three. Logan and I are. You went over to her house and actually handheld her and helped her because she has a complicated situation. Very strong buyer, but right up against her financial edge. I mean, down to the dollars of getting her through. She got a tough spot. You went over and helped her.
Yeah, no, we're going to make it happen. I'm not letting the deal die.
No, you're not. You better not let it die. It's a significant deal for Logan. It's a $2.1 million deal that's supposed to close in about 9 days, 10 days. So no, we're getting this one across the line. But I do like it. We're running late on this segment. Appreciate Core Title. We have so many different things that Logan's like, you got to talk about pause and charge. You got to talk about people that were actually making some new lending. We're running a little bit on a break right here, Craig. Jim, we're going to take this little break. We appreciate you listening. This is the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour. We are back at the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour with the RatePro.com. Brian Ichikawa, our good buddy and partner, my son Logan, with the team, the Richard Husel team with Keller Williams. You know, guys, we're licensed in California, licensed in Oregon. We're right here in Vegas, of course. I'm a property manager. We do commercial. We do ultra luxury. We're actually signing a deal in Moreno Valley. I've got a lady right now selling one of those low price houses. She's like, can you sell my daughter's house in Southern California? I said, absolutely, I can absolutely do that for you. We're going to be doing it. We're going to try to do more and more things to get our name out there, help you get your home sold more. We're going to talk about some of the marketing that we do that we believe is above and beyond 90% of different agents. I'm going to talk about this. We're doing a lunch and learn, and I'm actually doing it. Our friend of the show, Bonnie Berkowitz, we actually had her on. We're doing a little deal with her. We're working with her. She's been around for 40 plus years. She's a big time agent, sold hundreds of millions of dollars of homes. She doesn't want to work quite as much now. We're kind of branding together. So Brian and I, Logan, we're doing a lunch and learn at Siena Trattoria restaurant on September 24th. So what we're doing, March 24th.
March 24th, not that far out.
2026, right?
Yeah, close to your birthday, not September.
So we're doing it on March 24th. We're going to do it there. We got 3 spots open. If you're interested at all, we're going to be doing our lunch and learn. We're going to be paying for your lunch. I am going to give away 4 $50 gift cards to Target on the spot. This is one that we have done in Sun City. So we're going to have Core Title there. Logan is, we're going to have Brian Ichikawa there. We're going to introduce some of our partners, including our packing ladies. We've got Alex and Ellie. So when you buy, especially if you are a senior, maybe you don't have that physical ability or even the desire or drive to pack all those things. I've got our organizers, Alex and Ellie, are going to be there, going to meet them, talk about what we do, but we're going to do our Aging in Place seminar. Now, this is something that we were going to get going about a year plus ago, Brian. We did one in Sun City. We rented the facility. Actually, had to even give them my insurance, kind of $1 million policy just to do that lunch in there. So we did the first one there, pretty successful. This is our slideshow. We're going to be talking about our Aging in Place, the consultations we're going to do. We're going to give some free gifts, which are next of kin books. We've invited about 23 people. We've got spots for 3 more. If that's something you're interested in, on the 24th, 11:30 to 1, you want to meet Brian Ichikawa. You want to talk about reverse mortgages, maybe some help with the service model. Real estate in general, we want you to work with us, don't you, Brian?
Tell them where it's at again, just in case they didn't hear.
It's at you're gonna have to. It's gonna be an invite. You're not gonna show up. You're gonna do it because we only have spots for 27 people. It's on Sahara at Hualapai. Good Italian restaurant, pretty nice place. So we're paying for the food for you. We're gonna it's only gonna be 90 minutes. We're not gonna keep you there long. We're gonna give away 4 gift cards on the spot. But we're gonna be talking about what aging in place is. It's basically a way to safeguard your home for yourself, so you're not tripping and falling. Maybe you've got a senior parent that's getting up there a little bit. You really don't want to have that conversation with them. I'm the guy to do that for you. Maybe you want to talk about a reverse mortgage. Brian, we have somebody right now up in Seven Hills. They are in a spot. We've been doing open houses for them. They really want to get sold now. We've got about 2 minutes left. You're actually working on a reverse mortgage purchase for them. So they're going to take a certain portion of their money. They're going to use it so they don't have any more payments for the rest of their life.
Yep, they can put the money down on the next house, and then what we do is have them reverse mortgage for the balance, and they don't have to make a payment on it. They do have to put money aside for property taxes and insurance, but that's it.
But you walk them all through it. By the way, that was a house that you actually went with me, and we actually did it on the table. We filled that listing agreement on paper, and you said you actually did that on paper. Greg did old school. They wanted that. We will actually go to your house. If you do not like doing things online, maybe you just don't like that process. You want a lender. You don't want to go to one of the big places and go online and do it all. Yes, Brian's got an online app. But he'll actually help you, walk you through that. We do the same thing as well. We'll sign up your listing with you. And I do want to say, you call one of those big teams, right? They got the big name agent that made millions and millions of dollars. You don't talk to that guy anymore. We're top agents. We're top 2% in the country. We'll actually come over and help you and do all that. We're actually a real team, and we would definitely like you working with us. In our last 2 minutes, we were supposed to tell you, talk about we've got a new partnership going with a few different businesses in town. Real briefly, we're going to be announcing them.
Aaron Layla Jewelers here in off of Flamingo, here in Summerlin. Also, Paws in Charge. Obviously, one's a jewelry shop, and the other is like pet stuff. So
new store. So
absolutely.
Remember, we're partners with Snarl, Southern Nevada Animal Rescue. Like a couple of years ago, Dana and I said, you know, if we had a couple extra nickels to scratch with work, we wanted to have a charity that we work with. We love dogs, so we've been working with Southern Nevada Animal Rescue League. So we're helping. Our big event we did was Paws. It's not Paws in Charge. It was Paws in the Park.
Paws in the Park, correct.
The Paws in Charge is a pretty new. They've just had their 1-year anniversary. Very nice shop.
Very nice new store. Dog food there.
Grand
cat
Canyon
stuff as well.
Yeah.
Any
Brian
pets
loves
basically.
cats. And Brian is infamous, maybe famous, I'll say infamous with his relation to cats, but we love them. You just got a doggy, by the way.
I've had a dog for a while.
So everybody laughed. You have a dry sense of humor, but you are a funny guy. You went online and said, people told me if I get a dog, it might be good for business. And your daughter and you're holding your dog. What is your doggy's name? I've not met your doggy yet.
Chibi.
Chibi.
Yep.
Very good. So you have a doggy. So you're kind of jumping in on that bandwagon with us.
Getting a trip to Paws in Charge.
Yeah.
Get you some dog
Paws in
food,
Charge to get
treats or
some
something.
dog foods. Rates are coming down. If somebody wants to talk about a mortgage, wants to buy a new home, give us a call. Richard Husel, Husel. I'm easy to find. We've got a great YouTube channel, by the way. We've got all kinds of good videos on there. Our professional marketing team. We're running out of time to talk about it. Next week, we're going to talk about the Compass Anywhere merger with Rocket and with Redfin right now, right?
Yep.
And about what that means. I wanted to tell you, explain it to you, because when you read the headline, it may tell you, may make you think it's a little bit different than it is. We want to tell you about how we can absolutely match everything they're doing, and that Brian is a partner. Give us in 30 seconds. Talk about the rate that you can do.
Basically, what we can do is go online right now. I can actually beat anybody out there, and I give $1,000.
TheRatePro.com. Brian Ishikawa. Thank you to Tycourt Title. Thank you, guys. Talk to you next week. We appreciate you listening. This is the Richard Husel Real Estate Hour.